NCAA Championships.
In Iowa, a boy dreams of wrestling. And wrestling, he may dream of being like Iowa's hero, Dan Gable. Gable's name is synonymous with his state and his sport. As a collegian, Gable was unstoppable, undefeated, until losing the national championship in the final match of his senior year. But 2 years later, he was truly Olympian, winning gold in Munich without having a single point scored against him. "20 years have now passed, and Gable continues his dominance, now coaching younger wrestlers towards the glory he achieved." Welcome to CBS Sports' continuing coverage of the NCAA Championships. Today, from Ames, Iowa, it's the 1993 NCAA Wrestling Championships. Hi, I'm Randy Cross, and welcome to the sold-out Hilton Coliseum on the campus at Iowa State University. When we started these championships 3 days ago, there were 329 wrestlers representing 73 schools. Right now, we're down to the 2 finalists in each of the 10 weight classes, just trying to determine who the champions for 1993 will be. Adding his expert insight to this event will be Olympic gold medalist Jeff Blatnick. And Jeff, any championship I've ever been around has a very special aura to it. But there's just something very special about a championship in wrestling in Iowa.
Well, the wrestling has been impressive. The intensity level is sky high. This is the big dance, held in the new hotbed of college wrestling, the state of Iowa. 13 of the last 16 NCAA championships belong to this state. To win here is to win with the appreciation of a very knowledgeable crowd.
And for the 3rd consecutive year, Dan Gable's Iowa Hawkeyes have clinched the team title with an insurmountable 28.25 point lead over the 2nd place Nittany Lions of Penn State. But don't be fooled. Just because the team title is over, the individual titles are way up for grabs. And Jeff, we've got a unique situation in that 2 true freshmen are trying to become champions, and only once in the history of this event has a true freshman been a champion.
Well, the biggest surprise coming into the finals is 134-pounder Kerry Collette of Penn State. He knocked off a reigning national champion to get to the finals. At 142 pounds, Iowa's frosh sensation Lincoln McElravy was to redshirt this year, but was named to the lineup in February and has lived up to Dan Gable's expectations. In the heavier weights, Kevin Randleman of Ohio State will try and defend his 177-pound title. And at heavyweight, North Carolina State's giant Sylvester Turkay, who appeared vulnerable in the semifinal round, looks to avenge last year's loss in the finals and win his first championship.
Wrestling as a sport has its roots in man's earliest civilizations, but despite its age and its mystique, the rules are really quite simple.
Matches consist of 3 periods totaling 7 minutes. The first is 3 minutes long, with the second and third each being 2 minutes in length. Ties are settled in a 3-minute sudden death overtime. The scoring system is also easy. When a wrestler frees himself from his opponent gaining the neutral position, it is called an escape and is worth 1 point. When a wrestler takes his opponent from the neutral position to the mat, it's called a takedown and is worth 2 points. Reversals occur when a wrestler in the disadvantage or down position switches directly to the advantage or top position. This is also worth 2 points. When a wrestler puts his opponent on his back, it is called a near fall. By holding his opponent's shoulders within 45 degrees of the mat, for a 2 count, he earns 2 points. Holding him for a 5 count, he earns 3 points. And gluing both his shoulders to the mat earns a fall.
The competition is currently underway in the 167-pound finals, where Ray Miller of Arizona State is taking on Sean Fry of Missouri. Miller is wearing the red anklets, Fry the green. Anklets are used for scoring and identification purposes. Fry is the first Missouri wrestler to ever reach the finals in this event. And the undefeated Miller is now a three-time All-American, went through this competition last year with a badly torn knee ligament. And Jeff Miller showed those All-American colors from the very beginning, dominating this match right here in the first period with this takedown, going up 2-0. Had an escape for a 3-0 lead in the second period. And in the third period, yet another takedown to go up 5-0.
Fry added an escape of his own, making the score 5-1. And you see the riding time clock. That is time spent in the advantage or top position. If a wrestler has more than a minute over his opponent at the end of the match, it's worth 1 point.
And from the riding time clock, you saw Miller had almost 3 minutes of riding time, giving him in the red anklets the advantage for the riding time and the point at the end of the match.
In the waning seconds, Miller was warned for stalling, making the score now 5-2, but all he needs to do here is play defense. Keep Fry off his legs, and he can coast to victory.
And three-time All-American Ray Miller of Arizona State is the 167-pound champion here in the 1993 NCAA Championships. When we come back, Kevin Randleman defends his title at 177 pounds.
CBS Sports coverage of the 1993 NCAA Wrestling Championships is sponsored by Scope, the best thing first thing in the morning. AT&T, the right choice. And by the new Bic Twin Select for normal and sensitive skin. There's a Bic for every beer.
You shrink from human contact. You avoid each other like the plague. You are not you yet. Morning breath. It's as if the sticky, pasty film in your mouth is affecting your mind. But there's hope. There's Scope. Scope's antibacterial action kills morning breath bacteria on contact. So Scope helps get your whole mouth clean. Suddenly your breath is minty fresh, and so is your outlook. Kiss morning breath goodbye. Kiss it goodbye with Scope.
Great look. Beautiful hair. And only weeks ago, she came to my salon with a problem. Dandruff. So I showed her what Head & Shoulders can do. We washed half her hair with regular shampoo, the other half with Head & Shoulders. The result? Regular shampoo side, dandruff. Head & Shoulders side, flake-free. Looking good, Sally.
Thanks to you.
Head & Shoulders, because beautiful hair can't have flakes.
Merrill Lynch doesn't do it. Fidelity doesn't do it. Citibank doesn't do it. There's a breakthrough in retirement investing, and only Charles Schwab does it. Only Schwab gives you the lifetime guaranteed no annual fee IRA and no load mutual funds from leading fund companies. Only Schwab gives you the single best way to buy mutual funds for your retirement. So, if you're still paying transaction fees or loads,
maybe it's time to come to Schwab. It's where you had nicknames, attitudes, all-night talks, and part-time jobs. And since you left, it's the area code most of your calls go back to. Call AT&T now, and you could pay less for them. Spend $40 or more a month, we'll take 25% off your favorite area code, plus 15% off your other calls. Guaranteed, with no monthly fee. Call 1-800-426-4752. Real savings made simple. Just another part of the I plan.
Welcome back to the sold-out Hilton Coliseum on the campus at Iowa State University, where 12,000-plus wrestling fans have come to see these championships. And one of the featured events, the 177-pound class with defending champion Kevin Randleman. Kevin Randleman's emotional win last year for his first national title came with a special dedication.
Every time I look at my son, I mean, it's a feeling inside that I just can't express, you know, and winning this is the same feeling.
Son Calvin is Dad's biggest fan, but it's been a rockier road to this year's final. A dislocated jaw suffered in the second round sent Kevin to the hospital. But it will take more than that to keep him from defending his title.
It's sore when I move it left to right, but going up and down like this, it doesn't hurt that much. And when the finals come, I can run my head into a wall and I'm not going to feel it.
And the wall Kevin Randleman will be facing is a familiar one. Nebraska senior Corey Olson met Randleman in last year's final. It was a match that left a painful mark on Olson and tested his resolve.
To a headlock, he jumps over. That was a nice step over. He's beaten Olson's leg. He's got him in real trouble. He could get a fall here, and he does.
Ever since then, I've been waiting a whole year for another chance to wrestle in the finals against the same opponent. And I've spent a lot of time thinking about it and a lot of time working out, thinking about it while I'm working out. And really deep down inside, I know I can beat him, and I think I'm going to do it.
And right now, Randleman's got a takedown for 2 points. Olson 2 escapes for 2 points for the tie.
They're playing an upper body game. Olson right now has a front headlock on Randleman. Oh, he tries an inside trip. Randleman tries a duck. We got to scramble here, and they come out even. No points.
How much must those headlocks be hurting Randleman right now with that bad jaw, Jeff?
Well, there's no doubt that if a lock is around Randleman's head at all and he twists the head from side to side, there is going to be displacement. There's going to be some pain.
And the tension is not always on the mat. Jeff, this is a match that's really living up to its billing.
Well, it certainly is, and with a rematch, these wrestlers know each other, they're familiar with each other, and it's obvious Olson is prepared well for this match with Randleman. Right now, he's working on the head. This could cause Randleman some pain, but this is an excellent opportunity to try and turn him. Randleman has the advantage being in the down position. If he gets an escape, Olson's going to need a takedown, and there it is.
And how does he twist out of that with his head with that jaw like that, Jeff?
Well, you see the results of it. Obviously, he put his jaw at risk to gain that escape point. Olson, looking to try to get back points there, did what he could, but Randleman came up with the counter, a painful one, but effective.
Here we go.
Once again, this is the 177-pound final. Kevin Randleman and Corey Olson will have coverage of the lighter weight classes a little later.
You see 2 officials on the mat, but don't be confused. One is the referee. The other is the assistant referee, and his job is to help the referee in critical situations and calls.
And Jeff Randleman with his 3-2 lead's got to put a lot of pressure on Olson. From a strategy standpoint, what do you do if you're the Cornhusker?
Well, if you're Olson, you need a takedown. You have to have a takedown or you're going to lose the bout. Randleman's up by a point. Olson's strength is his upper body tactics, and Randleman is playing along with him. This could be difficult for Randleman. He doesn't want to get in a scramble. He would rather control the situation. And with the hands locked now, Olson attempts to throw. Randleman is countering, and he's going to get the takedown.
And that'll make the score 5-2 Randleman.
And Olson now is in desperate trouble. He has to get away and again force an upper body tactic to make up that deficit in points. And you have to question whether Olson had to attempt that throw still with plenty of time remaining. He could have gone for a basic takedown.
And where you said that Olson wanted to be up top of that upper body strength, this has got to be where Randleman wants to have this match right now.
Well, you're right, Randy. He's feeling confident. He senses his second national championship. And really, it's impossible for Olson to make up the points now.
Sports and championships are about peaking, and obviously Kevin Randleman has peaked at the right time. 2 seconds away from his second title in a row. And there it is. The junior from Ohio State is the 1993 champion to go along with his title in '92. And the deciding points in this match were scored by Randleman when he countered this attempted takedown by Corey Olson and turned it into his own 2 points. And here's Jeff with Kevin Randleman.
Kevin, another victory for your son?
I think this one more or less was for everybody. Family, friends, everybody, I guess.
How bad is that jaw bothering you?
I can't feel it, but I don't want to move it. I'm a little pumped right now. I can't feel it, but I'm sure I'll feel it in the morning.
Well, I'm sure you will too, but Kevin, you wrestled real well out there despite the pain. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
We'll be back with more from the 1993 NCAA Wrestling Championships right after this.
A twin blade from Bic?
What's in it for me?
I'm a big man. Big man.
This is new? A twin for normal skin and a twin for sensitive, right?
I'm a big man.
I'm a sensitive guy, right?
So I tried it.
Big man.
was good.
It was great. The new Big Twin Select. Normal, sensitive. It really blew me away. You made a big man out of me.
I'm a big man. Big man.
Sure. Unsure. Sure. Unsure. Sure Solid has the most effective wetness fighting ingredient you can buy. So when dryness counts, be sure to be dry.
If you can dream it, the Rebel can do it. Now, EOS Rebel from Canon has more power to create images, not just snapshots.
Image is everything.
EOS Rebel and Rebel S from Canon. So advanced, it's simple.
Eating disorders. 5 years ago, most of us had never heard the term. Today, they are all too common among athletes in a variety of sports.
If I didn't eat all day, then I would probably throw up maybe once or twice. But if I ate during the day, I would probably throw up as many as, I think the most I ever threw up was about 20 times in one day.
It's important to realize that no individual or sport is exempt from abnormal eating practices.
While the common stereotype of who develops an eating disorder is a young woman from an upper-middle-class family, in fact, we've found people of any age, both men and women, people of any racial or ethnic background, are vulnerable to eating disorders.
The NCAA wants you to know that eating disorders are a serious health concern. For more information on eating disorders and athletics, please contact the NCAA. This message is provided by the NCAA.
It's one of the country's oldest tournaments, and it boasts some of golf's biggest stars. The Kmart Greater Greensboro Open, continuing today on CBS Sports.
Welcome back. There's Harold Nichols, who during his 36-year career here at Iowa State led the Cyclones to 6 national titles and guided the career of the legendary Dan Gable. And earlier, Gable watched the 118-pound final between the Hawkeyes' Chad Zapital and Clemson's Sam Henson.
And for Zapital, it would be his 3rd trip to the finals. His previous 2, he came out on the losing end. For Sam Henson, this was his 1st trip to the finals, and he boldly predicted victory in this battle of unbeatens. And with a beautiful snap down, he earned the first takedown of the match to take a 2-0 lead.
And Zapital added an escape to make the score 2-1.
Henson, an upper body specialist, really frustrated Zapital. He kept the Iowa wrestler from getting to his legs and made him fight hard, even to get an escape where he hurt his ribs.
And that escape knotted the score at 2 apiece and set up Henson's decision at the beginning of the 3rd period to start in the down position.
Henson's strategy was to get the escape point, get the lead, and then keep Chad Zapital from getting the takedown. Henson felt confident he could keep Zapital off his legs and avoid that takedown, and even with the encouragement of Dan Gable, Zapital would fall short.
Well, it ain't bragging if you can do it. And Henson predicted victory, and that's exactly what he got in the 118-pound final.
Henson celebrated his first national championship, while Zapital suffered through the bitter disappointment of his 3rd straight final loss. But he has much to be proud of. Few wrestlers ever make 3 finals.
Next up was the 126-pound class, where Sean Charles of Arizona State, a loser in last year's final, met Tony Perler of Nebraska.
Perler's only 2 losses were to Charles in the regular season, but it was the Cornhusker who drew first blood. He countered Sean Charles to take a 2-0 lead with this takedown.
Perler added an escape to make it 3-0, and Charles came up with a counter of his own for a takedown and only trailed Perler 3-2 in the 2nd period. The wrestlers traded escapes to make the score 4-3, and Perler has the riding time advantage as we pick up action.
With the riding time, Perler will play defense. Unless he has a very good opening, he won't take a shot. Oh, and Charles throws a beautiful short drag. That's a takedown for him. He takes the lead now 5-4. And he has Perler in a little bit of trouble here. He's got a reinforced half Nelson. He's trying to put Perler on his back.
Charles wrestling without the headgear. They won't stop the match as long as Charles is in a point-scoring position.
Oh, and he might have Perler, and what do we have? We have an illegal hold. That must have been a full Nelson, Randy. Charles is not allowed to touch his hands when he has a half Nelson, as otherwise it becomes a full Nelson. And there he touches his hands. That's an illegal hold. Good call by the referee.
And with the penalty point charged against Charles, that makes our score 5-5. Perler still has the riding time advantage, though.
He has the lead, and it changes the strategy. Charles has to let him go and get a takedown just to tie the score. And in these waning seconds, Perler's going to play defense, and he just backs right out of bounds. It's a smart strategy. He's warned for stalling, but it doesn't cost him any points. With 5 seconds left now, Perler can even get hit again with a stall call and still win this bout.
Tony Perler came into this match having lost twice this year to Sean Charles, but he and head coach Tim Newman of Nebraska celebrate his title at 126 pounds. We often admire the wrestlers for their incredible strength and endurance, but there's also an artistic subtlety to be mastered. With more, here's On the Mat with Jeff Blattman.
Wrestling is more than just a physical sport. There's a mental chess game being played out all the time. For every offensive move, there's a defensive move or counter, and they range from the basic to the spectacular. In the standing position, the most common attack is referred to as a leg shot. If you grab one of your opponent's legs, it's a single. If you grab both his legs, it's a double. Good position here involves a straight back, head up, and arms in. So defensively, you want to break that good position. And the way to do that is with a sprawl. Put as much weight on your opponent as you possibly can, rounding his back and extending his arms. This leaves him vulnerable, and the defensive wrestler can spin behind for the takedown. The second line of defense is a hold referred to as the whizzer. If the sprawl is ineffective in taking the offensive wrestler out of good position, the defensive wrestler overhooks the outside arm, lifts and drives into his opponent, allowing him to spin behind for the takedown. The sprawl and whizzer are basic fundamental counters. An example of a high-risk but spectacular counter is the spladle. The offensive wrestler shoots a single and leaves his front leg up. The defensive wrestler pushes the head down, seizes the leg, rolls to his side, keeping the head trapped in his lap, and he can pin his opponent. And in a game of chess, there's nothing better than checkmate.
When we come back, it'll be the first of our true freshmen, Kerry Collette, going for the title at 134 pounds.
C-Spot. C-Spot Run. C-Spot. C-Spot Stay. Introducing something better, the world's first foam protectant. It's a foam so it stays where it's sprayed. No running, no dripping. It deeply cleans, shines, and protects without the mess. So why use an ordinary protectant? Try something better, the protectant with staying power.
It's where you had nicknames, attitudes, all-night talks, and part-time jobs. And since you left, it's the area code most of your calls go back to. Call AT&T now, and you could pay less for them. Spend $40 or more a month, we'll take 25% off your favorite area code, plus 15% off your other calls, guaranteed, with no monthly fee. Call 1-800-426-4752. Real savings made simple. Just another part of the I-Plan.
At the first tickly itch of athlete's foot, get an X. Killing those grungy fungi before they get cracking and burning. Go get that can now, or else don't blame Desonex.
Coast, the eye-opener.
Dear Thompsons, anticipating spring rains, I treated my redwood lawn furniture with Thompson's Water Seal waterproofing.
Honey?
My brother-in-law Louis used a different brand on his redwood gates. Then the rains came. After the most intense rain in almost 100 years, my furniture was like new. His gates actually swelled shut. Thompson's has no match. Sincerely, Lowell Salzer.
Now from Thompson's, a set of 8-inch neon Stanley screwdrivers, a $2.99 value, free by mail with any Thompson's purchase.
In the Alaskan wilderness, he found gold, love, and something even more valuable, himself. Rick Schroeder in Jack London's Call of the Wild tonight.
Welcome back to the 1993 NCAA Wrestling Championships. You may have noticed my partner and many of the coaches wearing orange and blue ribbons. They are to protest two schools, Drake and Princeton, that recently dropped their wrestling programs. Many say this is an all too familiar trend. In the last 17 years, over 100 NCAA schools, 40 in Division I, have dropped the sport.
Randy, wrestling is caught in the bind between budget cuts and gender equality in sports. With wrestling ranking third among revenue-generating sports, the wrestling world is dismayed, and further cuts will be met with organized opposition.
Next up, the 134-pound final and freshman Kerry Collette.
Since I was 8 years old, I've won a national title in college. You know, I'm hoping to get 4 of them. You know, that's what I'm looking at. So, like I said, it's a scary feeling not to come home and not accomplish that.
And the confident freshman from Pennsylvania faced T.J. Jaworski, a sophomore from North Carolina, in the final.
Collette came out with that confidence and immediately scored. He took a 2-on-1 against Jaworski, whipped him to the mat, covered him, and was able to get the first takedown to take a 2-0 lead.
Jaworski added an escape at the end of the first period.
Let's go back.
And Collette adds this reversal to make the score 4-1 in the second period as we join the action.
Coach Bill Lamb yelling advice to his wrestler, Jaworski.
Don't move too soon now, son. Don't try to beat
Collette will try to ride TJ.
Top.
Keep him down as long as he possibly can, build up some riding time.
Collette was clearly the aggressor in the first period, but it seems like in the mid-second period on, he's starting to wear down a little bit.
Perhaps the experience of one more year of wrestling by Jaworski of North Carolina, or perhaps Collette feeling some fatigue over a 3-day tournament. Beautiful single leg by Jaworski here. Collette trying to rub a leg to counter, but Jaworski's got great position, and he'll get that takedown.
And that'll tie the score at 4. Riding time is not an issue in this match.
Randy, I believe you're right. It seems as though Collette is fading a bit here. That or T.J. Jaworski starting to build some confidence. Jaworski now in the advantage position. He must try to turn Collette. He's working a one-on-one here, but time's running out in the second period.
And we'll start the third period, knotted at 4 apiece. And Jeff, Collette's a very confident wrestler, but right now he's in a very tough spot.
Sure is. He's won 4 state championships, undefeated in high school, went through the Olympic trials, so he's used to tough competition. But Collette needs to be careful here. He gets reversed by Jaworski. That's 2 points, and TJ is now in front.
And Jaworski made that 6-4 lead hold up. Despite this great flurry right at the end of the third period, you talk about the chess match, the move, the counter move. The end of the period had it all. But Jaworski was victorious and took the title at 134 pounds.
Beautiful match, you two guys. Beautiful match. All right, let's go to the center.
The 142-pound final featured true freshman Lincoln McElravy, who earlier today received some special advice from his coach.
And if you wrestle your match, you'll be successful. The main thing to remember is you're in a situation that you cannot panic or tighten up. 42, he's going to want to get in control of the match. He likes to get on in a cling and crab ride and things like that. I don't think he likes wrestling 7 minutes straight. The main thing is what I said. Do what you normally do. Do what you normally do. You know, don't get uptight about anything. Just get tough. That's all I want you to do.
McElravy, a winner of 200 matches in high school, capped his freshman campaign at Iowa against Fresno State junior Jerry Abbas, who relaxed prior to the final playing video games at the hotel. It's a team tradition that he says keeps him from eating and helps him concentrate.
Abbas came out focused and intense. He dominated the first period, winning the takedown game. And he ran the score up to 8-5.
As dominant as Abbas was in the first period, McElravy came back from the middle of the second period on and started to close the gap, getting the score down to 9-8 by the end of the second period.
Third period, gentlemen. The score is 9-8.
At the start of the third period, Jerry Abbas has the riding time advantage of 1 minute and 43 seconds. Here's the call.
McElravy just turned Abbas loose. That'll make the lead now 10-8 in favor of Abbas. And McElravy now needs to play a takedown game of his own. Oh, a beautiful ankle pick by Abbas. He has McElravy in trouble and scores the takedown.
And with those 2 points, that makes the score 12-8, Abbas.
Well, Abbas needs to free himself here. He needs to get back up on his feet where he can score points, but it's clear that Abbas is just going to hang on here. He's going to try to kill as much time as he can.
That's a warning, son.
And that's the first stall warning right there against Abbas. The next warning will result in a penalty point being charged against Abbas.
McElravy being turned loose by Abbas now. That's a point for an escape.
That makes the score 12-9 in favor of Abbas. And Jeff, it would seem for McElravy to win this match, he's got to play the takedown game.
And he has to win the takedown game. You always have 2 choices. You can go for a big move and a throw, get a lot of points, or get put out of the match, win or lose in 1 move. The takedown game allows you to chip away at that lead. Get a takedown, release your opponent. You get 2, he gets 1, you chip away at the lead and eventually take it.
Moving down now to the final minute of this match.
McElravy in on a nice single. Abbas doing his best to counter, but McElravy's got good position. He should score. And there's the takedown.
That gives the lead 12-11, Abbas.
McElravy has to let him go. He needs another takedown now.
And with that escape, 13-11 Abbas, and this takedown game seems to be working, Jeff.
It sure is. A beautiful takedown again by McElravy. He's making this takedown game work for him. He has a chance at winning this bout now.
One thing working against McElravy in this whole formula with the takedown game is the riding time. And the riding time is in Abbas's favor. He's got 1 minute and 52 seconds.
McElravy has to let him go right away. Again, now he'll look to try and take Abbas down. Abbas is assured that riding time, so he will get the point at the end of the match. McElravy is aware of that, has put it into his strategy. He needs this next takedown.
And he's got to get that takedown, Jeff, to tie this thing up.
A potentially dangerous situation broken by the referees. Gable saying, take that man down.
Abbas is 20 seconds away from a title.
McElravy needs to stay aggressive, needs to continue attack Abbas. Oh, a stall call against Abbas. That's a penalty point for McElravy, and a takedown now will win it. McElravy gets a duck under and a takedown. Oh, what a comeback.
It's over. And Lincoln McElravy becomes only the second true freshman to win a title in the NCAA championships. His here at 142 pounds.
McElravy needed 2 takedowns to win the match. He used what's called a duck under for both. He starts by seizing Abbas's right arm and lifting it in the air. He then changes levels by dropping his head under Abbas's right armpit and swinging his hips to the outside and around behind for the takedown. Beautiful execution. The winning takedown occurred the same way. A duck under to Abbas's right side. McElravy stayed with the move, got the good finish and the winning points.
And he won in classic Dan Gable, Iowa Hawkeye style. Jeff spoke with McElravy.
How important is Dan Gable, a legend at grinding down opponents and coming back, mean to you?
He's the ultimate, man, because I looked over there and I was down by a lot, and he still believed in me. He was still saying, get in there and get a takedown, get another one, get another one. Where a lot of coaches would go, what are you going to do? You're way behind, you know?
Well, congratulations, a great effort out there.
Lincoln McElravy and the Iowa Hawkeyes weren't the only big winners in NCAA wrestling this year. In Division II, it was Central Oklahoma taking the title. And in Division III, Augsburg College. We'll return to Ames, Iowa after this message and a word from your local station.
You are here. He has the traveler's checks here. There's got to be a better way. Here's one now. American Express traveler's checks for 2. The only checks either of you can use. Don't leave home without them.
With Ryder's 24-hour number, not only can you get everything you need to make your move easier, but you can call us with any other questions that come up along the way.
Does Route 60 run through Phoenix?
Ryder, we're there when you need us.
Get the answers to your most amazing questions. How did 200 skydivers form 5 human circles at 120 miles an hour? How'd they do that? Find out Wednesday.
This is CBS.
If you'd rather look like this and not like this, fix your hair. Fix your hair with HRS. HRS has the hair assimilation process. Not a wig, not a transplant. It's not growing hair, but it looks just like it. Swim, exercise, work out, sweat. Hair assimilation from HRS. The next best thing to growing hair. The best way to fix your hair.
Call Hair Replacement Systems now at 1-800-728-4247 for a free color brochure. It could change your life forever.
When I found out I could drive a brand new Pontiac Grand Am for only $199 a month, I wanted to know more. When I saw this Grand Am came with air, anti-lock brakes, stereo, and a bumper-to-bumper warranty, I figured it was time to do what any smart girl would do. Buy it. So I did.
Pontiac Grand Am for $199 a month. See your Eastern Iowa Performance Pontiac dealers. Dan Deary, Schoen, Irvin, Wagner, Dan Cruz, Mike McGrath.
How does Pontiac do it?
Chris Peddlety is on the Channel 2 News, where local news comes first.
Welcome back to the sold-out Hilton Coliseum in the 1993 NCAA Wrestling Championships. Looking on among the crowd is Jeff McGinnis, Dan Gable's prize recruit, who recently capped an undefeated high school career with his 4th state title. Next year, we may see him on the mats instead of in the stands. He watched his future team compete in the 150s, an emotional final featuring Terry Steiner.
Terry is one half of the Steiner twins, who are the 7th set of brothers to wrestle for Dan Gable, and the closest according to the coach. The brothers study together, live together, and inspire one another. Troy's national championship last year set an example for Terry to follow.
I'd like to think that without Troy, I could do it on my own also. But I know that he's had a tremendous impact on my career. And if it wasn't for Troy, I wouldn't be in this position right now. He's always been there for me, period. He's always been beside me. He's not only my brother, he's probably my best friend.
Troy's upset loss in the 134-pound semifinals has served as a special motivation for his brother.
It's disappointing to me that Troy's not there, but I know that the best way I can help Troy right now is to win that title.
And Troy waited nervously in the wings as Terry prepared for the finals at 150 pounds. And Terry Steiner at 32-1 faced Troy Sunderland of Penn State at 35-1. Each wrestler's loss coming against the other.
Steiner started out intense, scoring the first points with this beautiful double-leg takedown to take a 2-0 lead.
Later in the first period, Sunderland added an escape, and then this takedown to go up 3-2. In the second period, Sunderland added points on a penalty and an escape to take a 5-2 lead into the third period. Here's the call.
Steiner gets an escape of his own, closes the gap now to 5-3. Steiner also has 2 minutes of riding time, so he realizes, in essence, the score is 5-4, and he'll wrestle accordingly.
Is Steiner looking to play this takedown game we saw McElravy use?
He'd like to, but right now Sunderland is the one in on Steiner's legs, and he might get the takedown there, and does.
And here in the third period, Sunderland has that 7-3 lead.
Gable upset. Steiner doesn't have to be over-aggressive. There's still plenty of time. There he gets the escape. 7-4 now. We must remind you, Steiner does have riding time, so in essence, the score is 7-5.
Jeff, another tight score late in the third period. What comes into play?
Certainly stalling can come into play here, and certainly over-aggressiveness by Steiner can come into play where he'll make a mistake and Sunderland can put the match away. But if he stays with controlled aggressiveness, and there you have it, Sunderland has just been warned for stalling. There's no point yet. That was the first warning. If he gets hit again, that could cost him a point.
Once again, we're at 7-4, Sunderland ahead, late in the third period.
Steiner needs to continue to be aggressive. He's got his back to the center of the mat, so he's controlling the mat. The referees will look at that. Certainly fatigue becomes a problem here. Steiner again attempting a takedown, going out of bounds. And there's been another stall call, and that will be a point for Steiner.
And with that penalty point, Sunderland leads 7-5. Riding time advantage makes the score effectively 7-6 Sunderland.
Two things can happen. If Sunderland gets hit with another stall call, it's a tie match. Or if Steiner gets a takedown, he can win the bout. And Steiner's in on Sunderland here. This could be a takedown. It's close.
What is it yet? No call. Nothing yet. Referee stops the match. Confers with the assistant. Goes to the bench. And they're calling a takedown for Steiner. Wow. And in one of the most memorable finishes in NCAA Wrestling Championship history, Terry Steiner is the champion at 150 pounds.
It was a close call, but I feel the right call. When Sunderland's knees hit the mat and he's collapsed to his backside, that's criteria for a takedown and the winning points.
After the match, Jeff spoke with a choked up Terry Steiner.
Have you ever been in a more emotional match than that, Terry?
That was the biggest match of my life. Right there. I did it.
How important was this to you and your brother?
It's everything, everything. I worked my whole life for it. Finally got it.
Well, congratulations, and I'm sure everybody back in Bismarck's happy.
Thank you. Thank you.
A deodorant that keeps a man feeling as clean and fresh as this, all through the day. Well, this is it. Introducing New Band for Men. Clean and fresh because it goes on clear. And New Band for Men sets up a clear shield of protection that fights odor-causing bacteria for a full 24 hours. Feel this clean. Feel this fresh. Try New Clear Band for Men deodorant.
Dave Johnson, U.S. decathlete.
The trick is knowing what to sweat and what to let go. That's what performance is all about. That's why I like this stuff. It's got performance written all over it. Shampoo and conditioner in one, Pert Plus. It always gives me exactly what I'm after. Hair that looks great without a lot of fuss.
Pert Plus, also in dandruff control.
Images can change. Just like that, with the Rebel in each and every EOS lens from Canon.
Image is everything.
EOS Rebel and Rebel S from Canon. So advanced, it's simple.
Merrill Lynch doesn't do it. Fidelity doesn't do it. Citibank doesn't do it. There's a breakthrough in retirement investing, and only Charles Schwab does it. Only Schwab gives you the lifetime guaranteed no annual fee IRA and no load mutual funds from leading fund companies. Only Schwab gives you the single best way to buy mutual funds for your retirement. So, if you're still paying transaction fees or loads,
maybe it's time to come to Schwab.
At the first tickly itch of athlete's foot, get an X. Killing those grungy fungi before they get racket and burning. Go get that can now, or else don't blame Desonex.
He's macho, he's tough, and he's gay. And he's not the only one who's come out of the closet and onto the parade ground. 60 Minutes, tonight.
Next up is the 158-pound final. This class was supposed to highlight Oklahoma State's Pat Smith trying to become the first four-time NCAA champion. However, when the Cowboys program was hit with sanctions for numerous violations, Smith decided to redshirt this year and go for his fourth title next year. Ironically, in his absence, Pat's brother Leroy made it to the finals with his Arizona State redshirt freshman, Marcus Malika. He entered this competition as a number 3 seed and faced in the final the number 4 seed, the junior from Penn State, Josh Robbins.
Randy, this was a deliberate match. It was Robbins who came out first and snared a single leg on Malika to score the first takedown. He took a 2-0 lead.
Malika came back with an escape late in the first period and another early in the second period to even the score at 2 apiece.
And in a classic sequence, Robbins attacked Malika with a single leg. Malika countered beautifully to switch positions and have a single leg of his own. He then, in very deliberate fashion, worked up the body of Robbins to score a takedown and make the score 4-2.
Malika added one more takedown and Robbins 2 escapes. But that would be all the scoring, as Malika would be the 158-pound champion for 1993. Fortunately, Josh Robbins has next year to try again. But when most amateur wrestlers walk off the mat for the last time, their opportunities to continue in their sport are limited.
College's star athletes have long pointed to the pros for the payoff to their amateur careers, lured to the big leagues by even bigger dollars. But professional wrestling has rarely been the pot of gold for amateurs pursuing their passion.
If you were looking for money, incentives, endorsements, that you wouldn't be in the sport, and a long time ago you would have taken another route.
This is, for me at least, is an achieving of a dream I've had since I was just a little boy, to come and be an All-American and compete in the national championships. And that's the reason I'm doing it.
I loved wrestling. There was no more avenues in amateur wrestling for me to pursue. So for me to be able to get into an art like professional wrestling, I thought it was a good opportunity at the time.
An opportunity for sure, but perhaps not for everyone. Pro wrestling's fan appeal is not necessarily what amateurs envy.
I don't have any problem with it, really. I mean, girls have soap operas, and we have WWF.
I guess if someone laid out $2 million in front of me and said, go out and wrestle, I'd probably do it. For a while, at least, for some money.
Professional wrestling has, especially for an amateur wrestler, has, if you will, a scarlet letter attached to it. What a perfect option it seems to be. I mean, the perfect marriage between athletics and drama.
It's just a lot of fun for us, you know, going out there and wrestling in packed arenas, you know, and people are cheering for us. So, you know, it makes it easier.
There's just a whole nother, an aspect of professional wrestling. The challenge is definitely there, and it's nice to be able to make a living and still be in the art of wrestling.
We're really talking about apples and oranges. We don't, WWF, we don't even call what we do pro wrestling. We call it sports entertainment.
Top amateur wrestlers don't command entertainment dollars, but they can earn stipends of up to $7,800 a year and additional bonuses for success in international competitions.
Doesn't come close to what Barry Bonds and some of the other baseball players are making right now, but at least it provides an opportunity for these wrestlers to continue on in the sport past their collegiate careers.
Professional freestyle leagues featuring Olympians and other top wrestlers actually appeared briefly in the mid-'80s, but opinion is split on whether they could appeal to an audience today.
Eventually, I'd like to see wrestling become to where, you know, the people that are after college will have some type of profession, you know, some type of professional, legitimate wrestling, but I don't know if that'll come in the near future.
I think if people saw competitive wrestling and they saw very good wrestling, and it was presented for a period of time, 4 or 5 years, and they got used to that, I think that would also develop its own niche in the marketplace, and I think it could stand on its own.
Randy, the relationship between pros and amateurs is at best strained. Perhaps if the pros helped sponsor the amateurs, things would improve.
Right now, the 190-pounders are on the mat, and Rex Holman of Ohio State is leading Joel Sherritt of Iowa 5-3. Sherritt is wearing black with green anklets, while in scarlet and gray is Rex Holman wearing the red anklets. Sherritt is the number 3 seed from Iowa, while Holman, for the second year in a row, is the number 1 seed and undefeated, and is looking to avenge last year's tournament loss.
Holman has wrestled well, hasn't made any mistakes in this match yet. He also has built up riding time, but that was a poor shot. Sherritt with a nice counter. He's gotten behind Holman, and he should earn a takedown here. There it is.
That makes the score 5-5. Remember, Holman does have the riding time advantage.
And Sherritt is looking to get some back points here. Back has to be 45 degrees to the mat for a 2 count. It was close.
Oh, Holman getting an escape. Making the score 6-5 with guaranteed riding time, a 2-point lead. Is it too late for Sherritt, Jeff?
Sherritt had the opportunity to put Holman on his back and lost it, and that could be all for Sherritt. There's just seconds remaining. Sherritt needs a takedown desperately to knot the score, but he's not going to do it, Randy. And Rex Holman does get that revenge. He comes back and goes undefeated in 93 and is the champion at 190 pounds. Holman was almost turned by Sherritt for back points, and this was the crucial move that got him out of trouble, the one-point escape. And when we return, it'll be the heavyweights featuring the giant from North Carolina State, Sylvester Turkay.
You are here. He has the traveler's checks here. What can you do? Well, do this. Carry American Express traveler's checks for 2. The only checks either of you can use. Don't leave home without them.
Susie Hamilton, U.S. middle distance runner.
What was good enough yesterday just isn't good enough today. You can't hang on to old victories. That's what performance is all about. That's why I like this stuff so much. It's not the old way of doing things. Shampoo and conditioner in one, Pert Plus. It gives me the results I'm after. Soft, manageable hair with not a lot of fuss. Who needs the old way of getting there?
Pert Plus, also in dandruff control.
With Ryder's 24-hour number, not only can you get everything you need to make your move easier, but you can call us with any other questions that come up along the way.
Does Route 60 run through Phoenix?
Ryder, we're there when you need us.
For Mother's Day, Angie's Flowers typically gets 46 orders a day using Sprint's 800 service. For the same Mother's Day, FTD typically gets 460,000 orders a day using Sprint's 800 service. I'd say that pretty much makes Sprint the perfect pick for any size business.
The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, in partnership with the NCAA, provides funding and facilities for the National Youth Sports Program. Now in its 25th year, NYSP offers economically disadvantaged youngsters important experiences in sports and enrichment activities through summer programs at NCAA colleges and universities.
When Bob breaks his hand, will his best friend take his job?
These look like the hands of an illustrator. No, they're the hands of an underwear salesman.
All new Bob, Monday.
Welcome back to Ames, Iowa, where it's time for the heavyweights and North Carolina State's undefeated Sylvester Turkay, who's an imposing figure on and off the mat. The 3-time All-American and NCAA Academic All-American carries a B+ grade point average and also some heavy memories.
Turkay with a poor shot there, an Angle. Oh, a beautiful duck under by Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle's the winner over Sylvester Turkay, 3-2. Those memories have Turkay looking for redemption.
I left the job undone for the past 2 years, and I'm planning on getting the job done this year.
The first part of getting the job done is being #1 seed and being undefeated. The second part is defeating Don Whip, a surprise #11 seed, facing Turkay in the final.
Randy, I'm impressed with Whip. He feels he can stop Turkay's powerful double leg attack. And there it is by Turkay. And Whip doing a very nice job of sprawling. He's got his hips back. He'll now try to spin behind the big guy. And he's behind Turkay. Looks like he's going to try to throw him to his back. This might be a mistake. And Turkay catches him on his back.
And gets 2 points for the takedown, taking a 2-0 lead, and is now getting back points.
Not yet.
Jeff, is there a stronger wrestler in this competition?
No, no one is stronger than Turkay. He's by far the most powerful. And right now he's applying all that strength to try and pin Whip. Whip doing a good job, though. He's bridging hard, staying off his back now. He seems to be out of immediate danger.
Same hold, same legs, same leg move. 3.
And the 3 points are now awarded because the hold has changed, and Turkay now takes a 5-0 lead over Whip.
The hold is changed to a bar arm. This is a pinning combination. Turkay will run around the head of Don Whip, and there he's doing it, and he did a great job of keeping Whip in bounds.
He is again scoring back points here, Randy. And now the strength comes into play. Turkay using all that leverage and strength against Whip's shoulders. He's now changing off to a half Nelson. This is even a tighter pinning combination, and he's got Whip's head tight now. He'll lift up on it and try to press the shoulders down. And Whip is in serious trouble here. He could be pinned. There it is. And Sylvester Turkay, in his third try here in the NCAA Championships, has become the champion in the heavyweight division for 1993.
Shake hands, gentlemen.
Don Whip got around behind Turkay and made a bad choice. He went for the home run instead of a simple takedown and wound up on his back. Good counter by Turkay. And the ending to the match, the fall. Turkay with a tight half Nelson earns the victory. And while Sylvester Turkay walks away with the heavyweight title, Dan Gable and the Iowa Hawkeyes run away with the team title over Penn State and Nebraska. For Iowa, it's the 14th team title in their history. Jeff is now with Dan Gable.
Coach, congratulations. 3 years in a row. How impressed were you with McElravy and Steiner's performances tonight? 2 barn burners.
Anytime you're in a match where you're almost out of a match and put yourself back into it, you got to just give that kid an unbelievable amount of credit. For in our sport, it takes a lot just to stand out there and then to fight back from almost being beat and to win the match in the last few seconds or last second or even get the call one way or the other just is a tremendous emotional moment in sports.
Well, certainly the wrestlers pattern after their coach. Dan, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Great win this year.
So for Jeff Blatnick, this is Randy Cross saying goodbye from the 1993 NCAA Wrestling Championships, where Iowa has made it 3 in a row.
CBS Sports coverage of the 1993 NCAA Wrestling Championships is sponsored by the American Express card. Don't leave home without it. Something better, foam protectant, the automotive protectant with staying power. And by new Ban for Men, the clear deodorant that keeps a man feeling clean and fresh.
C-Spot. C-Spot Run. C